Hello, my name is Mehdi Raza, and I'm recording this video to share my experience that how I wrote the Microsoft Power BI exam PL-300 and what's my experience to qualify that exam. I wrote that exam on October 27, 2023, and the journey was a little difficult for me at this stage of my career, but still I took the challenge and did it. And how I did it, yeah, that was a journey. So what I did was I started training, a formal training uh, with IT Vision 360 in back in I think July. So I had that training and did some projects with that in that training and learned in there. But that was a slow process when I was doing all that, and I was thinking that I should need to write the exam as well. This IT Vision 360, they are consultant and they also provide training as well. So I selected them after quite a bit of research that I should go for training with them. And during my training, I did a couple of projects. So just to understand the process, this looks very fancy, but it wasn't that difficult of a project. So they gave me this sample project, and I did it with their help, with all the DAX functions and all these tiles. So I did this one project. This is one of those. Um, I'm showing it to you only for the reason that you will understand how much preparation you would need for exams. And everyone is different. So I won't say that you have to do this to write the exam, but this is what I did. This was my experience. So this was one sample electricity production project, which I did. The reason I'm doing this video is because I took advantage of this YouTube videos, and I learned from there and checked people's experience. So I felt myself obliged that I should also share my experience. So that's why I'm doing it. So, and this is another project that's accidental drug related deaths. So there was only one data file, and besides that data, this is the one which I created myself. This is like a date file, and this was the main data file. And then I wrote the measures also. So measures I put in uh, one table. All the measures are here. Of course, you will go in the details of your project, and then you will understand the whole thing. So this was the data part, and then this is the module. Uh, we have drug deaths and calendar, and this is the visual. So this visual, again, this looks very impressive, yeah, because my instructor guided me for this. And but it is not difficult. It was simple enough to work on. So I gave the live links in there also. I guess, which is very simple. It's just an action. You do the action, and it will activate the URL for you. I'm showing it only for the reason that if you want to know that how much practice or how much you need to know before you write the exam. And again, it's not necessary that everyone has the same uh, style of working. Uh, so this is how I did. There's some, and then you go to the next page. The map is not working because my setup is has some issues, so that's why. Otherwise, the map was also working, and I was doing it before. So this is the map. It also works. So this is the main thing of or the main project which I did. So I gave you two examples. I did other assignments as well. Again, just to share with you that this much I knew before. So then I started to look for what kind of questions we receive in there. For that, I checked Microsoft's own website, but then I found out another very useful website, and that was itexams.com. itexams.com. I will put in the comments or in the description this name. It will be easy for you to find out. So I went there and I looked into the exam. I purchased it. So I was looking for Microsoft exam, and the exam is PL-300 for Microsoft Power BI. Here. So since I bought this exam, that's why I see this. If you have not bought the exam, then you won't see this message. It will give you first 50 questions or so. But here, so and they give you the updates also. So the recent update on this exam is on November 16th, and today is November 18th. So go to the questions. So here are the questions. You can see the number of pages. Maybe you want to see 100 pages, 100 questions on each page. So just like that. And this one has a total of 248 questions, I think. And I checked with multiple people, and they said 95%, yeah, 245 questions. Multiple people said that 95% of the questions they come from these lists, and I also experienced the same. That over 95% questions were from here, and I practiced it so much that when I was writing the exam, so instead of looking the question, I was looking into the answers, and when I looked at the answer, oh, yeah, this should be the answer. So, for example, this one was I kind of, but this was stuck in my mind. Uh, so it was like dual, direct query and import. So then whenever I saw this question, if I saw the answer, I knew what the answer is. So I hope I was right. Yeah, dual direct query. So this is the kind of questions you get. So you will get on this IT questions, itexams.com, and you will get these questions. And 95% of questions they come from here. So practice of the Power BI and doing a few projects in there, and then practicing these questions. That will really help. This is important to know that practicing these questions. Try not to memorize the questions. Try to understand the questions. For example, uh, when you expose the answer, it will give you the answer, and the good thing about it that they will give you some details of the answer. And if you want to go in detail, so this is the best part of it. If you want to go into the details, they give you Microsoft's own site or own page also, where you can see more details. So you have to copy and paste that in a different window, and then you will see Microsoft's details in there. No, this was a wrong one. This is a different one because the earlier link wasn't working. So this is a different one, and that merge queries overview. Then you can go into details of that, and this is Microsoft's own. Here you can learn from here, you can do it, and once you do it, and then Microsoft records it as well for you that you have done this module. So you can do Microsoft's training as well. That is also very good, and they have exam questions also. And with the end of every module, they have knowledge check as well. Uh, on this page, I don't see it, but on Microsoft, yeah, you will not normally get the knowledge check also. So you can learn from Microsoft's own website, and that is the best one. They give you all the details, and they give you they'll tell you what you need to do more or which topics you need to learn more. So you go to the Microsoft's website, that learn.microsoft.com, learn.microsoft.com, and there in the training, you go in training and your learning path. Actually, I already have selected that, so that's why I got directly into there. You go in training, browse training, and here you can search for PL-300. Once you start doing the modules, it records it for you as well. For example, this module, I left it in the middle, that model data with Power BI. I did it for 38%. And they have this check your knowledge also. So once you, so for the level of confidence, you can see that this much you learn. So this is another way of learning. So I had that training, and also I learned from, of course, from YouTube, and also from this Microsoft and the questions here and there. And another very good website I found, let me show you that. Some people also use this exam topics. That is also another good one, examtopics.com, and then you get the questions from here as well. Here also, again, you buy the questions. So actually, there are tons of sites, and you pick up in YouTube or whatever. You pick up the site you like the most, and you learn from there. And after some time, you'll get the experience, and you'll see what is working better for you. And the way I did it, I made a spreadsheet for myself. So what I was doing here in the spreadsheet, I was marking down for myself. Okay, so when the first time when I wrote the exam, so here, like on September 21st. So then when I was writing the exam for the first time, so I did a lot of 25 questions or less. So then this question was right. Okay, so this was right, and even I even recorded the time as well. So in the afternoon, so I worked and there, and then I did about 25 questions or more. Yeah, you can see from the date here. But the idea was that, okay, so these questions, first attempt I did correct. The green ones are correct. The red ones was absolutely wrong. And the yellow ones were partly correct. So that's what I did. And then I was going, of course, as I showed you in the question details also. When and then I redid the question. So I redid on another date, for example, this is the very second day. I was doing it again, and here what was happening, that was very frustrating for me. For example, this question number 7, I did it first time correct, completely correct. Second time I did it wrong. So that was frustrating me. That means I do not have clear concepts. So this is what was happening. And for example, here I did it correct. The 16th question, again, I did it wrong. 17 was partly correct, and now it is wrong. So that became difficult for me. Anyhow, I didn't leave my struggle. I kept on struggling. So I reached to the sea. I started on September 21st, and then I was busy with other stuff as well at work, so I was not putting much of the time. So this is I think this is here I was my final preparation. No, this is the second time. Yeah, so this is I started working second time on my exam because in the middle I got busy with something else, and that was very difficult because if you start preparing and then give a big gap and then you want to redo it, for me it is difficult to recall everything, but everyone is different. But this is how I did. So this was the second time when I worked on. So this was in October, mid October, October 14. So here, as I had relatively more correct answers. So this was my first attempt. Then what I did was then I looked only for the questions which I did incorrectly. So these were incorrect questions, partly incorrect, and then I was doing it correct on like 2 days after. So at that time I practiced a little more and I studied a little more. This is how I was doing. And after doing that, and then on October 24th, 23rd, I redid the whole test. Whole test means I wrote all 200. At that time, they had 227 or so questions, so I did all those questions. So that at that time, I had all these questions. Yeah, 127 questions. So on October 24, I did all correct questions. So October 25, 24th. So it took me, well, no, even 23rd as well. See here. So it is not in the sequence. The date is not in the sequence because I was doing the wrong questions first. Because this question, for first two attempts, I did it incorrect. And then on 24th, I did it correctly. So this is what I was doing. So again, what I did, I made a spreadsheet for myself and put the question number, my answer, correct, incorrect, or partly correct, and like a traffic light, a red, green, or amber, or you can say yellow color as well. So I will remember. Okay, these questions are the ones which I remember. So that's how I did. And then doing the exam, the day of the exam was a whole different story. So the exam, I sat down more than half an hour before. My setup time was 9 a.m. EST. I sat down at 8:15 and did my. I had my passport and my driver's license with me. So they asked for a question. I cleared the table and did. Let me see if I can share my pictures of my room. No, I don't have. I couldn't find the pictures of my room. But basically, what you need to do is make your table all clear. There should not be any pen or paper or your phone or anything. And they tell you that in the beginning. And just your laptop, and there shouldn't be any other screen. So I had other screen that I took away from my table. And then they asked you for four pictures, like from the front, back, left, and right of your table, and you should not be near to a window as well. So, and then they ask you the picture of your passport, of your IDs, passport. I give my passport, and my driver's license. I gave those pictures. The pictures I took from phone, and then they sent me the code. And then I was after 15 minutes or so, I don't remember the exact time, but then I was able to get into the exam. And there was a practice question, and then the exam started. I was extremely nervous. So I was working on, and then you have the ability. They lock your screen. They you cannot open any other thing on the screen. And one other thing important is if you are using your office computer, and it is if you are using VPN, so just log out of that shut that down and then restart, and do not get into your VPN, just your regular network. And try to use, if you can use your personal laptop, that would be better to write the exam. But if you're using your office laptop, then do not do the VPN in there. So that's my exam started. And then you have the window of Microsoft as well. You can open that. It's kind of open book, but it's very hard to find your answer. But if you just want to confirm something from Microsoft, what I was confirming was no, I'm not recalling. I was just confirming. Uh, I think the the level of security. I think, yeah. So the admin security, the contributors security, so a member security. So that security I was confirming. But if you do that, that takes time, and you don't have much time. So do not rely on that. And I was about 70% done. And when I opened that Microsoft, and then the computer hung up. It hung up on me. So I was clicking here, there, nothing was happening, and I was looking straight into the camera, because I did not want to give an impression that I'm doing something else. So I waited, and then I pinged them, like there you have the chat button. So I tried that chat button, and there was no response. And I said, 10 minutes passed, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30, 40 minutes passed. Nothing was happening. I was so nervous that what's going on, because I did not want to lose my 70%. Because I was pretty sure that I have done that correctly. So I did not want to miss that. So and then I in the midways, what I did, I opened my uh, yeah, actually in chat I started writing that I am waiting for a response. No one is responding me, and I don't know what to do now, because they recorded, and in recording they would be seeing that. And then I said, okay, now I'm going to pick up my phone and calling